one place. Someone flips me a bad body. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
What's going on, people? Welcome into another episode of the Stay Weighedin Show, presented to you on iBoxingHub in association with our partnership with DROC Clothing. Before we go into everything in regards to that, I'm joined by my man Ray. How you doing?
I'm at peace, man. I'm at peace with the result, man. I'm at peace. You can't trigger me. But
Hey, listen, I'm gonna work my magic. Look,
There's
look,
no
the
way you
thumbnail's
can.
right up there. Listen, before we go
Nasty.
into depth about everything that happened, here's a quick little video from our sponsor. There we go, guys. You saw the promo code iBoxingHub24, 40% off DROC Clothing. Shout out to them. Ross just quickly already in there straight away. He's saying, I need to get cynical views. He misses
man.
you and Ray. All I'm going to say, Raw, quickly, why did nobody miss me? No, nobody see me do any boxing. I'm here to talk about boxing and stuff. But let's go straight into the boxing. Daniel Dubois put on a performance over the weekend, dropping AJ, I think, 4 times, ending it in the 5th with a beautiful clean shot as well. I want to just talk about the fight in general, starting off with the first round, and then we'll go through it as well. That overhand right, that caught AJ. AJ's defense was slacking completely, and from there, it just felt like AJ couldn't recover. Just talk to me about that shot and the way it hit so clean, and just AJ's defense into that shot as well.
The distance management from AJ in that moment was some of the worst I've seen from him ever. I don't know why he fought, because even like watching it back, I was looking at it like, you must be able to measure distance better than this. You must know that that's not enough distance to have a quick breather, because you know many boxers do that. Some people are just like, why is his hands down low like that? But there's many boxers where when they have enough distance, they take a breather, reset, and go back in. Whereas Dubois he covered enough distance where AJ put his hand down and his reaction time was so quick. As soon as he saw him with his hands down for a second, he looped overhand, clocked him, bam. And the moment he got hit, I feel like his legs were gone, and it was just a ticking time bomb from there. I get a lot of people are saying what Ra's sentiment is about slow recoveries being AJ's problem all his career. I agree and disagree. My only thing is with AJ, that shot was pretty flush. It was pretty flush from a strong fighter like Dubois. So when the weird people are saying AJ has a glass chin, I'm just like, this is a guy that's built just as big as AJ, just as strong, just as fast. He's called Dynamite for a reason. You think he's going to name Dynamite by not like knocking the majority of his opponents? Like, what is it? 22 wins and 21 knockouts. And you think that's a guy that if he hits you flush on the chin, that is not going to, stumble you. Like, it was AJ's mistake that led to it. But after that type of shot, I don't think there's many boxers that's recovering from that, to be fair. And from that, AJ just proceeded to go out on his shield.
I was going to say there was some parts in the fight again, and maybe it's because of the shot, maybe it's just a lot of naivety. One being the low blow. Like I said, we saw it with Usyk. He was able to take the full 5 minutes. even though personally I didn't feel that was low. Again, I didn't really watch the shot with AJ, but what I did realize was the referee basically said it was low. And I think it might have been less than 20 seconds, not even that. AJ's like, let's go fight again. In terms of that, again, how much of that was naive to go ahead and do that? Because you have 5 minutes, you're basically you're not really there, but shouldn't you have enough, or even your corner give you a bit to say, take the full 5, something of that nature, to be like, go on, you've got 5 minutes here to be able to compose yourself and get back into it.
I think if it was like the Klitschko fight where you got dropped, did the hoodoo spell work?
Listen,
Don't start, Rod. Do not start. But I think it's different with the Klitschko fight where it was like he was buzzed, but he still had his body wasn't shut down. So it's like mentally he was just in a space of I just need to survive and I'll get my legs back. Whereas this time, I think he knew deep down my legs are gone. Like there's no amount of time that you can wait during a fight period where your legs will come back. The only time his legs will come back is after some prolonged rest. The way I saw it, it was just like AJ
You would have got 5 minutes though.
5 minutes ain't getting your leg. When you think about it, getting buzzed by a Dubois like that, yeah. The difference between, because you said like the same about Usyk, yeah, about Usyk took 5 minutes, yeah. Usyk got hit to the body. It is way easier for you to recover after getting hit to the body. If it was the body and not, not the groin area, it's way easier to recover from getting a body shot than it is, getting hit flush and then your nervous system basically saying, I'm done. Like his body short-circuited basically. And after that, there's no amount of clinching, there's no amount of dark arts, there's no amount of, taking 5 minutes that's going to get his legs back in time. After that, I think AJ just said, F it. This is where it is. I got to go out there and go out on my shield. And listen, man.
Do you know what's crazy about it? So this is the thing. I understand going out on your shield. But this is for a world title. Just hear me out. Let me land it. It's for a world title. Even in the 5th round, when you catch Dubois, it just felt like it was so reckless to me. Like, I understand he's buzzed. His corner's probably doing as much as they can do realistically. I think even when he sat in the 4th, down in the 4th to get up for the 5th and 6th, he said something like, this guy's shit, or something along those lines. I might even be wrong there, but I heard him say something.
Along those lines.
For me, this was such a super careless fight, not just directly from AJ, but even from his corner, because I don't know if you've seen the 5 Live clip that's going around, and I can't remember who it is that's commentary for 5 Live, and they're basically saying, this is awful advice from Ben Davison, because he's going to get clipped again. And that's literally what happens when you get knocked out as well.
They realized that with AJ, at that moment, it's like, 1, he's committed to getting a knockout at this point. But then 2, well, there's many factors. 2, he can't stand on his punches no more, because if you realize the 4th round when he got the 4th round, I believe it is, when he got knocked down and he was into the ropes.
Yeah.
Many people do not realize the first time he went into the ropes wasn't because of a punch. It's because, it was a punch, but the punch didn't put him into the ropes. He got punched, he was going backwards, and then he rolled his ankle very badly. So imagine this, you've been stung in the 1st round, you've already lost your legs. Now you're trying to fight someone, you can't stand on your punches, so your punches don't have as much pop in them. And then you roll your ankle, to which that's when he rolled his ankle, he went into the ropes, he tried to clinch Dubois. Dubois pushed him back into the ropes, and that's when Dubois unloaded after that. Because I think some people were like, oh, why is the ref not counting? He's into the ropes. And he's like, no, he got pushed into the ropes when AJ was trying to clinch him. And yeah, like Andy said, his game plan went out the window. I think he realized, rolled my ankle, I'm getting dropped. He's probably gone to his corner. And I think there's a lot of people like, oh, AJ is arrogant. Why is he pulling those faces when, the bar was catching him? It is a
coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism. Sorry, yeah, I was about to say defense mechanism, not defense mechanism. Coping mechanism. It's the same way You see all the time when fighters get punched with a good punch, and then they'll act like, yeah, there was no poker face, but it happens. There's many fighters they get caught with a good shot, and then the commentators will always say, he really felt that because he's smiling. A lot of that's AJ's not the first person to do this. I don't know why people are just. They've got this weird thing where anything AJ does, they go, oh my gosh, he's so cocky, he's so arrogant.
I hear it.
Guess what? Do you know how many fighters have got hit with a good shot, and they've just been like, oh, like, it's fighting. Like, what is this? Like, what did Dubois say? We're not lawyers. We've come here to fight. All these people offended because he stuck out his tongue because he got punched.
But
like, I don't understand why people are getting upset. The guy, what more do you want from the guy? He went out guns blazing. He went into a gunfight. He went into a gunslinging contest. He lost.
This is the thing.
It is what it is.
No.
There was no going back.
No, hear me out.
Wait. I'll let you land, but let me just say this. To the people saying he could have held on, all this and there was no going back. By the third round, when you've been dropped that many times and you realize your legs are gone, there is no, let me hold out for the 12 rounds. Because if you're holding out for 12 rounds, all that's going to happen is that he's going to get battered for 12 rounds. So AJ basically said, if that's the case, my leg's already gone. Now I've rolled my ankle very badly. Gunsling, let's go for it. Because even the punches that he buzzed Triple D with, he didn't even stand on it properly. It weren't even hard. He didn't punch as hard as he could because his legs were gone. Done.
This is what I say. I think when you're AJ, and I always say this is because it's a victim of your own success.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will automatically assume that you should win this particular fight, including us. We all looked at it and said AJ is going to beat Daniel. Daniel's time will come, but when the current
AJ was
and I think that's probably the reason why, and it gives them ammunition to be able to say what they do. I will say this, credit to Eddie Hearn to start off with, because the way he handled it afterwards, I think that was A+ in terms of the reaction to it, saying what he said in the press conference, everything of that nature. So I do respect him for that. But I'm going to say this, and I want to talk to Daniel soon, but I want to get this point across, and this is where I'm going to be a bit nasty. So let me land. All those people that criticize Canelo Alvarez for every fight that he's been taking, let me land.
Off the stage.
Let me land. Every single person that criticizes Canelo Alvarez for any fight he takes, except for your little fake Mexican guy in David Benavidez, this shows why you have to respect it. Because every single fight you take, there is a potential to lose. The only difference we are getting with Canelo Alvarez is the fact that he puts on performances the way that he does, and he makes it look so easy. But the reality is, being such a huge favorite going into a fight, unfortunately not getting the result, but getting the beatdown that you did, can happen. And that's why you have to respect Canelo Alvarez. Regardless of who he fights, he's always going into a fight where he can potentially lose, but he makes sure he doesn't lose. That's all I'm gonna say. This result and the way that the result was done should let people know, respect fighters regardless of who they face.
I hope Ra still tuned in. Are you hearing this drivel?
That's all I'm saying.
Berlanga is not.
I don't care. Berlanga a big butcher?
No, wait. Being young does not equal being better. Being young does not equal having skill. Berlanga had beaten no one. Who was Berlanga's best win? Go on, you tell me. Exactly my point.
Exactly. Munguia's 40+. 40 or no. 40 or no.
Against who? Against who? Who's Munguia? It does.
No, you're not getting my point. My whole point isn't.
Dubois had come through Gerald Miller, which wasn't the biggest win, but mentally it was. But then he beat Hrgović, who was meant to be, the number one contender for IBF and fighting for a title. So Dubois has shown that he's world level. Berlanga has never beaten anybody that is that level. The same way you're saying about Munguia was 40+. So what was Zerdo's record again? Zerdo's record, I remember before Zerdo got his chance at light heavyweight, Zerdo had some incredible record. It is padded. Do not pad records and then tell me, he's fighting someone that's 40 and
realistically,
you are padding records.
Realistically, a lot of records are padded.
Canelo fought someone.
You're getting away from a point.
No. Had not fought at world level in
You're
Berlanga. That
you're
is
getting
fact.
away from my point.
You cannot
My
compare the
point
two.
isn't
Dubois was world level. Canelo fought
to a point.
somebody that was not world
Let me
level.
pull back on that.
Being young does
Let
not
me
mean you
pull
are
back
world
on that.
level. Stop the
Let me
nonsense.
pull back on that. Let me pull back on that because I want to talk about Dubois a lot more now. My whole thing isn't a case of who the opponent is. It's the fact that we should respect the fact that every potential fight, because of these guys being certain ages, can be a particular banana peel skin, whatever the hell it's called.
No. It
That's
won't
why you
land.
must
That is
respect
not landing.
what people are doing when it comes to Canelo Alvarez.
This flight is in turbulence. This flight is in turbulence.
It's
horrible
not.
turbulence.
No, it's not.
Remember when Canelo used to say, what did Canelo say to Andrade? Horrible fighter. Horrible fight. But Berlanga was a payday.
That's why we're not fighting him. That's why we're not fighting him. But that's not my point. My whole point is every single person outside of Frank Warren, Dubois' team, and his big core fans picked AJ. And this was meant to be just that fight that, okay, he fights, we finish it in 6 or 7, and then we move on to what happens.
It's not the same. It is
of course
not
it's
the
the same because
it's not the same. Being the favorites lose. At the end of the day, if you're going to fight, if the best are going to fight the best, do you want to know what the difference is?
Go.
AJ has always faced the best contender, no matter what.
Well, this time he wasn't the contender. He was just elevated. He was given
but Dubois had fought at world level. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Berlanga had not fought at world level, is what I'm saying. So I cannot make the comparison because Dubois
technically he was mandatory.
Dubois had fought at world level and had some success at world level. Point blank. He wasn't just some random young fighter. Dubois it's different if it's like AJ faced, I don't want to say this because it sounds disrespectful, but it is what it is. If AJ faced like a Fabio Wardley or a Fraser Clark, and then got dealt with the way he did, it's going to look more awkward because it's going to be like, these guys have not fought at the world level. How are they dropping AJ like this? Dubois has had a crack at Usyk. He had a crack at Hrgovic. He earned that IBF title, point blank period.
Regardless,
so
they
therefore,
are
no, it's not regardless. It's not regardless. Losing to younger fighters and losing to young contenders or young champions is totally different. Berlanga was not world level. He is not top 5. Okay. He is not.
I hear it.
Top 10.
But the moment Canelo Alvarez retires, Jaime Munguia, Edgar Berlanga, these are world champions. These are guys.
Do you think Berlanga's a world champion if Canelo is not there?
If Canelo is not there, potentially.
What is in the water in the north? You are going crazy. No, he is not. Because
we will see. We will see on that basis. We'll see on that basis because then what will happen? What will happen is historians like us will then look back and respect.
Not beating David Morrell. Berlanga is not beating David
Morrell's at 170. They're at 175 right now.
Those guys. Let's be honest. Those guys are more suited. Maybe not Benavidez.
The commercially better.
We saw Morrell. We saw Morrell at 175, and it was not good because he was looking flabby. He looked like you need to cut a bit more weight because you don't look like you're in the best of shapes. Morrell is a 168 guy who was meant to be there, but because of his frustrations of waiting on Canelo, even though he was interim WBA champion, he moved up. Berlanga does not beat. Who I don't understand how you're trying to equate Berlanga's at world level against.
No. My point being is
you want to know the fact that Top Rank released Berlanga because they looked at Berlanga
and
he faced. Let's get one thing straight. Berlanga faced Rolls. Rolls was someone that Triple G had beaten up years before that, and they tried to pad Berlanga's record with Rolls to make it look like, oh yeah, look what Berlanga's doing. He beat the guy that Triple G beat. And you struggled against Rolls, and that's when Top Rank started looking at Berlanga like, you can't. No disrespect to Rolls, but you can't beat Triple G's leftovers. Like you was meant to go in there and steamroll him. No pun intended.
Listen, I want to move on to Dubois. I want to move on to Dubois. I'm saying there's a potential for him to be a champion.
No, it is. Okay, we will see. Potential is potential. Dubois is not potential, but Dubois is contender / champion. He wasn't
No, he's a
potential.
champion. He's a champion.
Yes,
He's a
exactly,
champion right now, yeah.
exactly.
But
Even before the AJ fight, Dubois was a champion. Whether the betting favorites gave him kudos or not, Dubois was that level.
let's go to
Belanga
Dubois then.
was never.
We'll see. We will see how
Let me
Belanga.
tell you something. If
If
Belanga
Belanga becomes world champion, what?
ever beat Canelo, it would be one of the biggest shocks in boxing history. Dubois being AJ was a shock. However, it wasn't one of the biggest shocks where we're just like, I don't understand how this happened. How could Dubois do this? No one said. We looked at that fight.
Yeah, listen. Don't say no one can say it, because I mean,
there were people. Trey on iBoxingHub, who's gonna be on the show tomorrow, was saying he was backing Dubois. Stop acting like Dubois was this complete underdog. That Dubois wasn't Buster Douglas. Dubois was not Buster Douglas. Stop it.
As I said, those that have a little bit of a hater in AJ will back Dubois, but the majority, if not all, outside.
Listen, Rico, who's the biggest AJ fan, has been telling everyone that would listen, Dubois is world level. And after he done the damage to Usyk, even Usyk told him, yo, you're the guy if you carry on. So there are world level guys that were telling Dubois, you are level.
I believe Usyk also said Chisora was his toughest fighter heavyweight.
He was. No.
He was because of his first fight being there, which is fair.
He was.
Okay.
Listen,
let's talk
many world champions that tell you ask them what's your toughest fight, and they'll tell you the most random name. I remember Floyd's toughest fight, you could argue, was Augustine. I've forgotten his surname, the Drunken Master.
Mm.
And that's not a guy that everyone knows. And Floyd's got a who's who of opponents. But this, let me before you carry on, don't ever try to do that Canelo nonsense.
Yeah, you said you can't be rattled.
Nasty.
You said you can't be rattled, so I had to do it.
That is so nasty.
You got to realize until May, I'm not seeing.
I hate this because people make it seem like I don't like. That's what Emmanuel Augustus Burson. Thank you, neutral. People make it seem like I dislike Canelo. I don't dislike Canelo. I really like Canelo. I just don't like the pedestal that they put him on when it comes to, one, he's not fighting his top contenders, which I then also agree with where he's in his career. But then if he's going to go down that Mayweather route that you lot like to say that he's going down, acknowledge that and let's stop acting like he's facing the best of the best, because he isn't. And that's okay. But stop making the comparisons. What AJ done and what Canelo done are two different things. Let's carry on giving praise to Triple D because that's the one.
Let's talk Triple D. Pause. Daniel,
good pause.
He did his thing. The one thing I've got to say about Dubois in this entire build-up, I feel like people laughed at him for everything that he was doing, but then in the ring, what you saw for me was 5 rounds of just coming forward, very fast, very aggressive boxing, power hitting. And is it just one of them things where the young lion at this particular point in time can really compete with these older generation guys? Because I just feel like right now, if he comes that aggressive against anybody, especially loaded up with that punching power as well, he can compete with everybody on a proper level where it's not going to be the next time if he faces AJ, which we'll touch on. It's going to be that much of a mismatch with the betting odds and people picking it going forward.
Let me tell you something. The beauty in being young is the fearlessness that you have. Excuse me. Is the fearlessness that you have of a lot, and just the naivety of not having to think of the worst outcomes. Even though Dubois has already faced his own, versions of adversity, he hasn't been knocked out the way AJ's been knocked out. So yes, AJ goes in there, whether it's conscious or unconscious, he's gonna go in there with knowing that he's been knocked out, and he's gonna, fight with a certain level of timidity because of it, which isn't. It's a good and bad thing. It should make you more defensively sharp, which is why I was annoyed with his performance, because I'm just like, for someone that's been knocked out before, I expect you to be more defensively sharp, and I'm sure he expects that of himself. Whereas Dubois hasn't been knocked out cold like that. So he's probably going in there, and we saw it with the commitment to his punches. He didn't hesitate.
Round one, literally, moment
round one.
bang, a
1-2
setter.
overhand. He didn't care about what came back at him. And I think with Dubois, what you saw was fearlessness, lack of caution that comes with being young and reckless, and then also commitment. Where AJ would do his feints, Dubois was just like, hold that. Every single time, AJ like tried to make Dubois overthink, and Dubois was just like, I'm not even gonna think about this. I'm hitting you. And there was many times that Dubois got hit back, and he was just like, he just took it in the chin, and he was just like, yeah, I'm hitting you. And I think that's where the only thing that will undo, not Usyk, Dubois would be what Usyk done. What Usyk done was he overloaded him with information in regards to what he was going to get hit with, the angle was going to come from, but not everyone has the ability to do that.
That's
why
a real
Usyk
slick
is a pound
boxer,
for pound.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Usyk, he's, arguably the best pound for pound boxer in the world for a reason. Whereas this fight, where Dubois is committed to his punches and to what his game plan is, he didn't think about plan B, sorry. Dubois said, this is plan A, we're sticking with plan A. And AJ was kind of like, he tries to do the game where he keeps you on the outside. And it's like, Dubois just took the center of the ring, stuck it on him. And unfortunately,
I'm going to say this. I know there's this talk of a rematch.
I don't want it.
I think it makes zero sense. Just because, look, I see how obviously the way AJ fared in the rematch against Ruiz, different simply due to the fact that both Ben and Eddie acknowledged it. They were like, how we lost this fight, and it was very careless from us in the sense of, we can come back and win this particular fight. The Usyk fights, it was a skill set thing, but even in the rematch, it was only until the championship rounds that
AJ had some success, yeah.
This one just feels different. This literally feels like a young lion who's just there. And you see, we see it in MMA sometimes where you take the rematch, and the older guy that lost, he's going to lose quicker. I genuinely feel
Leon and Usman.
Yeah, I genuinely feel that would be the same thing here. If they did a rematch, whenever there is, I just feel like Daniel Dubois would hurt him more quickly, and probably potentially finish the fight more earlier.
Dubois and Frank are begging for a rematch. They're absolutely begging for a rematch. Of course, what?
Financially, yes. Financially,
yeah, no,
100%.
I think I saw an interview with Dubois. Apparently, Dubois said that he wants to finish AJ even quicker because he feels like he could have done better.
Yeah.
They want that rematch. As much as people want to be like, oh, that's unfair on Dubois. Let me tell you something. Frank and Dubois are rubbing their hands and they're saying, I triple dare you, make that rematch. And we will do Wembley again. And we will do big money heist again.
I'll be honest. The only fight I realistically need to see AJ in now, there's two. There's obviously the Tyson Fury fight, but that all relies on the outcome that happens in December, personally, for me. And the other one, again, it's so unlikely. But if we get it, I'm going to say this right now, you are seeing me in London for the entire week. Deontay Wilder, if Deontay, we're not doing it in Saudi. You might see me in Riyadh for the full week.
It will absolutely.
But Deontay Wilder is a shout again. Like, when you look at AJ's options that are there, what do you think is the best one to go for personally for you?
I like the Wilder one. I like the Wilder one because I feel like what AJ got criticized before, which I feel was stupid again, but he's always going to get criticized for everything, is that yes, sometimes you need to build yourself by taking a step down in competition. There's no shame in that. So when AJ faced the Franklins, the Hellenius, the Wallins of the world, and everyone was just like, oh my gosh, why is AJ facing?
It's different. It's different.
No. You need to. This is what I don't like when people are.
Because that was an actual rebuild. I got it, and you had time on your hands.
But he's still. Guess what? Where he is now, he needs to rebuild because you obviously done something wrong. Because that's contradictory. You can't say don't rematch Dubois, but then he goes to rebuild first a lesser opponent. And you're like, no, you can't do that. So what do you want him to do?
No. My point being is, I think when he fought the other guys, Otto Wallins, commercially, I'm on about the names that he would probably have to fight have to be commercially.
AJ is gonna be AJ. Let's stop doing this. This is the guy. Word to Booker T 5 times. 5-time stadium, not arenas, people. Stadium seller. Out, sold out. 5 stadium shows that he sold out. He is the guy. Unless he takes, the only time I'll say AJ may not be the guy as much anymore is if he took another loss might be the point where people are just like, AJ, it's been fun, but we might jump off the bus.
That's why I just look, for me personally, let's make Tyson Fury. But again, that depends on December.
Even if they make the Tyson Fury fight, he's still going to need a tune-up in between that to get the buzz. To get the buzz going, and for February. Him, he needs. I believe that he needs to get that bad taste out of his mouth with the Dubois defeat. So maybe it is going to be Wilder, and he puts the final nail in the Wilder coffin.
I'm telling you, everybody, right now, we get rid of Malik Scott. We put me into the camp, and we are hitting. I'm just going to say to him, listen, get your cardio up. Now. Just punch. Don't think. Go reckless.
No saving Wilder now. It's done. He's too far gone. He's too far gone in his ways. He's gun shy. He's too small. All that. I was even saying before, I feel like Wilder should have faced Okoli. That's who I'd like Wilder to face. But
yeah,
if people are still bloodthirsty, let Wilder face Joshua, and Joshua will put him away, and then maybe Joshua puts him away and then goes on to face Fury. But for me, that's what we need. We need AJ vs Fury Endgame 2025 to end that era of heavyweight boxing, because the new era has landed, the new era has taken over, and I think if Usyk beats Fury, retire, because if he tries to face Dubois now,
we're ready, we're back.
Usyk might be in big trouble. Usyk might be in big trouble if he faces Dubois again now, and Usyk, the mileage is getting onto him as well. The mileage is getting onto Usyk
22 professional fights compared to Deontay's 44, but that's beside the point. I just want to
Deontay against who? Against who?
You got to realize the training camps.
Who is Deontay's best win?
You got to realize. Don't fall for these.
Who is Deontay? I'm not. Listen, stay woke, people. Stay woke. You can't tell me.
I can get away with it because they're live. So don't look at
older Luis Ortiz. Every single time that guy tried to go up to face other former world champions, he lost. And Ortiz wasn't world champ. He was a decent guy, but that was a past the Ortiz who didn't reach world champ status. We
should have beaten Tyson Fury in the first fight. We should have beaten Tyson Fury in the first fight.
No, he shouldn't have.
We should have. It's a slow count. I'm dying on a hill on the slow count, but that's beside the point.
Slow count, I agree. That fight, though, Wilder was absolutely getting outclassed.
But yeah, I just want to quickly touch about the card. How do you feel about AJ potentially only ever fighting in the US?
Because it's called world boxing, not US boxing.
I don't think. This is the thing. There's certain fighters I think personally that resonate probably more over in the US. I think AJ found the stadium lane in the UK and realized, look, we can work with it. I think Matchroom did a good job with that. Obviously, they're doing the thing in the US with US fighters. So I think they've got that nailed down. So I didn't really need AJ to do that. He was international without being international anyway. Just quickly, the rest of the card, Hamza Shiraz, co-main event.
Future champion.
Again, this wasn't I didn't want to sound horrible when I said this, but Tyler Denny looked like a child compared to Hamza in the ring.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
He shouldn't be fighting at 160, but there's he can fight at 168 if he wanted to do it. I reckon
Hamza's still young. He's still young. His body hasn't fully grown into. How old is he? He's like mid-20s.
Yeah, I want to say that.
So he's not at a point where it's a struggle to get to 160. So the people saying it's unfair. As long as he can make it to 160,
that's it.
Healthy, keep on fighting. And to be fair, Tyler Denny, I was happy he got the big payday. And Tyler Denny, let's be for real, he's European champion, but that is his level.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's not as an insult, because even to be European champion is an accomplishment. But that's Tyler's level. Hamza is world level, and apparently, obviously, this is rumors. Other world champions have turned down the opportunity to fight Hamza on that card. Hence, why he had to go with Tyler Denny.
This is the thing. You know, when some fighters say, "Oh, I'll fight anyone that's in front of me," and you can tell they say it, but the truth is, you're going to make negotiations difficult. I think at this point, if there's a certain fighter personally that I believe that's up and coming that will fight anybody, I do think it is Hamza. If you put a name in front of him, he'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's run it whenever you want. I think one of the things being the Riyadh season ambassador helps in the sense of when the card's there, he'll make sure he's on the name, continue to grow and stuff. And yeah, like, again, very solid performance from him. There's not much you can say about it because it lasted less than 2 rounds, and he just got the job done, and Turkey was happy. I just want to quickly wrap up with this. Your boy Joshua Buatsi, relieved to get the job done against Willie Hutchinson.
I still need to see more from Buatsi. I was happy because Willie Hutchinson needed a beating, and Buatsi gave it to him. But in order to beat Better Beef or Bivol, you need to go up a level. I don't know if he's got that gear in him. What do you say, sorry?
Or Canelo Alvarez, but that's a conversation for if it can ever occur. But that's beside the point. Carry on.
We all saw what happened when Canelo came to Bivol, so let's not do that. However, what I will say is this. I've got love for Buatsi. Obviously, GH in the building. We love to see it. In order to beat Bivol or Better Beef, you're going to need to up their level. Has he got it in him? I hope so, because those Better Beef and Bivol have shown that they are, levels above the rest of the division. And now that, Buatsi's got the WBA interim or WBO, one of them.
Yeah.
He's in title contention. And WBO, thank you. And I was saying before, the rest of the light heavyweight division, if they're lucky, they better hope that Better Beef wins the fight. Because if Better Beef wins the fight, I believe that he's going to win the belts, retire, and scatter it. And that is the best way for a lot of people to win their light heavyweight championships. Canelo can finally get it without having to face Bivol if that's the case. However, if that's the truth,
but I'll be ready with multiple.
If Bivol wins the undisputed fight, he is staying on top of that division for a long time. And if Canelo tries to come up, he will beat Canelo up again, maybe even worse than before.
Definitely not. But I think one thing we can say about Buatsi, in terms of the British scene, he's officially cemented himself as the #1 British light heavyweight guy. And now, like you said, it's down to Ben, it's down to Boxer. He's in the position and push that position going forward to get him world title opportunities. Finally, I just got to say this. I don't get why they do Liam Gallagher at this London event. It just I get it, but I don't. But I get it. Yeah, look, Turkey, fair enough. Like, this is what I will say. This is why I love London. Thank you for your curfew. Because without your curfew, we were going to be there till 1 o'clock. The fight pace, a lot of the fights until Hamza went the distance. So it was like bang in, out, in, out. Sometimes a bit like, the top rack undercards where they go straight into the next fight type of thing. That's what it felt like. And then obviously Hamza won and they had to stall for a bit. But had there been no curfew, we were in a position where we were going to get a lot of video packages, a lot of post interviews, everything. So I was just glad that we had.
Why is boxing not enough? Why do they need to do all of the theatrics? Please,
big drama show.
The big drama show that needs to be the boxing. The big drama show that needs to be the national. I didn't even mind when it's on the Saudi national anthem, because if I'm Turkey, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm funding this, so yeah, you better. I'm bankrolling all of this.
I think they did it in America as well, if I'm not wrong.
Good.
Yeah, because you are bankrolling. That's fine.
If I'm bankrolling it, but the Liam Gallagher thing, please. There's rice at home. Let's keep it boxing. Let's keep the entertainment. palatable. It doesn't need to always be. I get it. They want to do this big showcase, but sometimes it's like it's too much, man. Like the last Riyadh season in Saudi, was it Eminem that they had or Eminem that they had?
Eminem was in LA, yeah.
Bro, let Eminem stay home. Like, why is he there? Or let Eminem stay in the crowd and watch the fight. He didn't need to perform. Or if anyone wants to do a music performance, do it bringing out the fighter. But the whole, I get it, you want to make it a big spectacle. I just feel like, what happened to good old fireworks? What
You
happened
get them. You get them as well.
I don't want to see those music performance. Please let the entrances be epic. The bar's entrance was epic. AJ's entrance epic. That's all you need. We don't need the music theatrics. I'm sorry, man. That guy's already got a talk going on. He'll be fine, man.
Listen, guys, we're gonna wrap up today's episode. In the chat, we appreciate everything that you guys have been doing as well. Production as well. Always appreciate you. Rico Trill be on very, very soon as well. So stay tuned for that show and everything else throughout the week. As always, iBoxingHub 24. Get yourself 40% off from our sponsor. Until next time, love and peace.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my scars with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag, so it's another one.